So is it fair to say that now I get where God came in your life?
Yep.
It's just awesome.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm thinking that your drive really has a lot to do with your children.
Oh, all the way.
Yeah.
All the way. And here's why. And it never really dawned on me till you just asked that and you just said that. And I loved my parents like crazy. That this is not a knock at my parents by any means, whatever. But when I was in 6th grade, that's when things start shifting. You know, you can either go good or bad.
Yeah.
And 6th grade is really hard. And we were on a budget. And my mom would not buy me designer clothes. I would beg and cry, and all the girls were wearing short-ass jeans,
Yeah.
and I would cry, and they wore the fancy underwear and all that, because you had to start dressing out in PE, right?
Yes.
And she wouldn't, and it didn't matter what I asked. She said we couldn't afford it, and she wouldn't, and so I never got designer jeans. And so in 6th grade, I began 6th grade with the cool kids. I fit in with the cool kids. By the end of 6th grade, I wasn't part of, they were
wow.
yeah. And in 7th grade, for sure, done, because then I wasn't wearing Jordache, and I didn't have the fancy underwear, and I got in with the wrong crowd, and actually started using substances at the age of 12. And so, yep. So when I look back on all of that, I swore. And then when I got kicked out of the house at 17, in my mind, I was always like, whenever I become a mom, I'm going to buy my kids the nicest clothes. I'm going to buy them fancy underwear from day one, because that stuff matters. It matters what people think about you. Even if you're not a bad person, it's their appearance. They judge. They judge you based on the way you...
Yeah. At that age, you can't
oh gosh,
really...
kids are mean.
Yeah.
And then once they all start talking about maybe you don't have enough money, or look how she's dressed, then it starts spreading.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a horrible place to be when you're in that environment. And so that was me in middle school. And so I fit in then with the bad kids. I was accepted. And so that began years of me being a really horrible teenager. Horrible, horrible, horrible. And it's like, I never wanted my kids to go through anything like that. So that's why I worked as hard and have continued to. They've never went without anything. No matter if I was in debt or not, they never knew it. When we were in debt, like over $100,000 in credit card debt, they didn't know. They had no idea. It was like, I'll just go apply for another credit card. And I just kept doing that. I probably have 30 credit cards, you know, like for real. That's how I did it. And because I did not want them to go without anything. And I knew I couldn't lean on their dad. And my dad wasn't one of those who was like, here, let me get, nope. My dad was like, you can do this. My dad didn't buy new clothes ever. He wore the same clothes for 30 years. So it's like, I didn't have a choice. And I had to make it happen. And I wasn't going to go to my kids and be like, you can't have Victoria's Secret underwear, pink underwear. You can't have that. Why? It's $20 freaking. Really? I'll freaking stick it on a credit card. And I did. And my daughter has worn pretty underwear her whole life, you know? So,
yeah,
I mean, even as a baby, even she was wearing pretty stuff as a baby. It's like, I'm not having, and my kids have never went without, thank the Lord, because I knew, and that's another reason why I stayed an entrepreneur, because I knew the way that I was going and having to take care of my kids like that and not wanting to tell them, no, we can't afford that. I could not go get a job somewhere because they weren't going to be able to pay me. They were going to be in control of my income.
Yes, yes.
As an entrepreneur, I'm going to hustle every day, which is, I probably could be a sleeper if I didn't have that ingrained in me where I can't shut it off. So it's like, I can't shut it off. Yeah. And people in our office, it's funny, like people that work with me, they know, like, I have no sympathy for, if they say they don't feel good, I'm like, really? And then they're like, oh yeah, we're not allowed sick days because you won't stop, you know? And I have to tell myself all the time, I'm not normal. So y'all, yes, you can be sick. Yes, you can have personal days. Please don't be like me because I'm abnormal. But I've had to be because of my goals and my vision and what I want my kids to live like. And now with my kids in the business, so my daughter helps run the staging company. She's only 19. So it's like, okay, she's not old enough to really understand this. Right. So I'm having to stay on top of this whole thing and not get on her. And I tell her all the time, and she goes to college, and I tell her all the time, I want you to do you. Like, this is always going to be our family business. If you don't want to be doing this, go away, walk away, go to school full time, do whatever, and you can always come back to it. Yeah. Don't feel like I'm pushing you into this. And then my oldest son, Joshua, he wasn't going to do it. He didn't want anything to do with real estate. He was doing baseball. But then he got the bug, and oh my gosh, he's a slayer.
Really?
He's been in it now just a few months, and he was just telling me last night, he was like, Mom, I was looking at my pipeline, and he and his wife are partners in it. They're a little team. And he's like, if we continue like we're doing in the next 6 months, and he's telling me what he thinks that they're going to make in their pipeline.
That's so cool.
It was and I was just like, grinning, and I was like, and he's grinning, and I was like, don't, that doesn't mean stop. You just keep going. Because in real estate, I mean, you don't get paid till it closes.
That's
So
right,
whatever's
that's
in the pipeline, that's not a guarantee.
That's right.
You can't just be like, oh, let me let off the gas. Never let off the gas.
All right, so wait, Tricia. All this is awesome.
That's a lot of information.
What is your best day ever? Or best week, best time in your life ever? Let's put it that way, because you have a lot of, and your hardest time. Maybe talk about, I mean, you may have already talked about it in the first one, but what was your hardest time? Or hardest day in your life?
I've had a lot of them. A lot of hard days. A whole lot of hard days. I had a substance abuse problem, which was not very public. And so, I'm going to go real deep, something I've never shared publicly. So when my first child was born, I call him my guardian angel, because that's what made me get sober. And it wasn't alcohol, so it was a substance. And then when he was 9 months old, I relapsed and had to call my mom to come get him because I could not be a good mom. And she showed up at my door. I was at home, and she showed up at my door, and I had him in my arms, and I had to hand him to her. And the look on her face was disgust. And I'll never forget that feeling. I wanted to end my own life, of course. And I swore that day, I was like, I can either be a drug addict or I can be a mom. And I chose to be a mom. And that was the end of that. And he's 24. And that was one of my hardest days, for sure.
So this reminds me, this reminds me of the movie, what was it with the three guys when they go away on vacation? Damn it, Billy Crystal and the two other guys, they go with the cattle run.
I can see it too, but I'm like, what is that?
I'll put it here on the video. The point is, he's asking his friend, he goes, what was your worst day ever? And he says, the day I found out we thought my wife had cancer. And he tells his whole story. And at the end of the story, she didn't. And the other guy says, so that's your best day ever? He's like, well, no, that's a horrible day. He goes, no, it's a great day. Your day, as horrible as that was your turning point.
Oh, 1,000%.
So that is such a positive.
1,000%.
Yeah. So you took an incredibly negative.
Painful.
And turned it to probably one of your most positive, pivotal moments.
Turn my life around.
In your life.
Turn my life around. And so it's so funny because he's, people talk about your firstborn and all that, and I get it, your firstborn, but it's like, he saved me. The birth of him saved me, period. And it's crazy, like, we're not your average family. My kids are my best friends. And I see kids grow up in homes where they're not, and their parents are hard on them. And I wasn't always hard on my kids because my mom was hard on me. She was really hard on me. And I know I was getting in trouble. But there was not a day that I didn't come home where she wasn't going through my purse or going through my room. It was not a fun, and it wasn't a fun time. And so I didn't ever want to be that mom to my kids. I trusted that they would make the right decisions, and they have. They're not drug addicts. And my mom used to say that. I hope, your kids end up just like you. And I was like, good Lord, I hope they don't. And they didn't. My kids are great, and they're amazing, and they're the kindest, most loyal people. And now that they're older, they're like, now they recognize like all the hard work that I've done, and they get it. They get me getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. They're like, oh my gosh, like, you are insane. But we so appreciate this. Like, we wouldn't been able to live with you, wouldn't have been doing the things that you've done all this time.
That's right.
And for me, so because of all that I've been through, I don't have a lot of sympathy and empathy for parents that choose drugs over their kids ever, because it's a choice. It's a choice. I've been there, and I know how hard it can be, but it's like, I've been there, and it's a choice. And I don't have respect for people that don't want to get up every day and do the work, because I've been there. I had a kid that wasn't even supposed to survive. I was a single mom. They went to work with me. If I was out showing property, we're going. We're all going. Sit in the car. One of y'all can sit in the car. We're going. This is how we pay our bills, and we're going. You're going to go do open houses with me. We're going to go put out door hangers together. We did everything together. We work. And now they're in the company. We work it. And for people that look and maybe like, she drives a nice car and she has this and that, you know what? I have worked my ass off every single day. No days off. No days off. No one, and people that know me, they're like, I don't know anybody that works as hard as you do. And I sometimes wonder, I'm like, God, shouldn't it be easier by now? Because I still shouldn't have to grind like I do, but it's not. And so I just accept that, because I think I'm being used as an example of what others, yes, you can.
What do you do for fun? Yes, you work your ass off, but what do you do for fun? Besides, I know you obviously you enjoy going working out.
I do.
There is something about that. It gets you, and me too. So you enjoy working out. You enjoy working hard. Yep. I need to enjoy that much better. Again, grinding. I need to enjoy that. What do you do for fun?
I love the water. So anything on the lake, anything on the beach, or in my backyard, or anyone's backyard that has a swimming pool. It's something about that water. It just is peace. It's a sanctuary. The other thing that I like to do for fun, which is going to sound crazy, it's now work related, is we like to do events. We like to throw parties. We love to throw parties, big parties. They're fun. And I don't have to plan them. So one of our agents, she's an awesome planner. She loves that stuff. We have a couple of them. They love that. I'm not good at that. I can come up with the idea. I'm the visionary, but I am not that one that's going to be like the checklist one. I'm not. I just don't have that strength. That's my weakness. And you know what? Traveling has been and it's really work travel, because we travel in groups. So then it just becomes a big party with your friends, and you're going to work.
Yeah.
You're going to work all day long. You're going
I've
to
seen on Facebook you went somewhere with the whole group.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Vegas. We love Vegas. We do Vegas a lot.
Yes.
I tell people all the time, and in my office, I clearly have a lot of energy, but I feed on energy. And so when I go into a room or in an environment where there's no energy, where people are just sitting there, they're miserable, they're bitter. I literally, if I stay in that environment, you'll see me shut down, where I will just sit there, I will stop talking. I will totally turn into a different person. People see it, people that know me, and they'll be like, she's got to get out of this room. And I do, because I'll get in a horrible mood, miserable. And in minutes. It's the weirdest thing. And so for me, and it's gotten worse, every year it gets worse, I can't even be around it. And I think it's because I've recognized it now. So then when I walk into one of those rooms, you feel it right away. It's I'm not, and it's so funny because now my kids, because I voice it. I'm like, I'm not feeling the energy in here. I got to go. And so it's my oldest son, he says that now. He'll be like, I'm not feeling the energy I need to be feeling. It's super cool. And he'll even tell me that. He'll be like, I'm not feeling the right energy from you, Mom. He'll call me out. I'm like, oh, really? Step it up, Mom. But it's the coolest thing. And I believe, and it's beliefs. It's really about beliefs. It's I do believe that we can make this world better. I don't believe that we have to be in this world like it is. I think with more of us get out there with energy and bringing people together, the right people together, we can overcome evil. Yes. We can overcome the darkness. We can get out there, and you got to have thick skin. You got to have I get up every day and I put on this suit of armor. It's you can't worry about the haters, because they're going to be out there. And if they're hating on you, it's because you're doing things right. And that's been one of the hardest things for me, is because I want everyone to like me. And they're not all going to like you. People are going to hate you. And in the beginning, when we were growing in the company and all that, and there was a lot of rumors going around, and that did hurt. But it's you know what? I'm going to stay focused on what I'm doing, stay focused on the right. Not everybody's for us. Not everybody's for us.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a great point.
And
not
even Joel Osteen was saying it in church just the other day. He's even people that you think should be for you, because they should be, maybe could be in your family.
Yeah.
Then maybe they're not, and they're never gonna be. And you have to recognize that and let it go. I can't change everybody.
Yes.
And some people, you just need to get rid of them, because you're just dragging them along, and it's not healthy for your mind.
Yes.
I mean, here's another thing, y'all. Y'all should do this. I posted something on Facebook about this the other day. It's Eminem's song "Lose Yourself," and it talks about one shot. You got one shot. Don't miss your opportunity. And that's one of my favorite songs. If you listen to the lyrics, it's you got one shot in this life. One shot. What are you going to do with it? Yeah. We don't get a do-over.
That's right.
I don't want to pass away and go up to heaven and be like, well, that sucked. Can I do that one again? Those 80 years sucked. Can I go back and redo that? No, it's done.
First of all, you're probably living to 130.
I'm okay with that too.
Do me a favor, because I'm doing a video with you, and I have 4 or 5 other women right in a row. Even though your advice can be for men, I get it. Yeah. But speak to me. Give advice to women out there who right now are thinking about trying something new, getting into something new, and are faced with, I don't have the degree, I don't have the knowledge, I don't have the experience. Yep. Because you're a woman who came from, in your words, did not have a high school degree.
High school dropout.
And okay.
Yep.
So
First of all, you got to get around the right people. Pay attention to who you're paying attention to. Pay attention to what you're paying attention to. Read, seek people that have been where you are and have exceeded that, and then get around them. Ask questions. And I think so many people are afraid to ask questions because of their pride. They don't want to seem like they're dumb or less than, so they just try to figure it out. Don't try to figure it out. I did that for so long because nobody was there to help me. And so then I met the right people really in 2017, and that's when things really propelled, because they were like, what are you doing? Let me show you this, and try this, and don't do that. What are you doing? And call me when you need help. Call me when you have a question. It was coaches, real estate coaches. Yeah. And they're my friends now. We're all in business together. But it was like, that opened my eyes. And awesome. And they said the same thing. They were like, because they make a lot of money. And they said, it's not about the money, because it's when you have money, you can change people's lives. Like, we get up every day because we want to change lives, period. Period. It's not about the money. It's never about the money. You can always make more money, but you can't ever change what you did yesterday or 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
You can't. Once it's done, it's done. It's like you don't get a do-over.
That's right.
We don't get do-overs here. So it's like you have to be really intentional. And really, when I met them, now it's been 5 years, it's like I just became more and more intentional with what I do every day, and who I'm around every day and who I'm not around every day, and the kind of situations I put myself in or don't put myself in, because you got to know your strengths and your weaknesses. Like, is this a good fit for me? Should I be doing this right now? Probably not. Then stop. And it's choices. And it's really filling your mind every single day with the right messaging. And if you don't know people that can help you, reach out. Like, I'm always out there to help people. Reach out to me. I was telling someone the other day, like, there's a center for teenage girls, and I'm going to speak in front of them. That's one of my missions, probably, if not this year, next year, because they're teenagers. And it's a girls' home, basically, and it's in Katy. And they're girls that there's kind of like nobody wants them. They're violent girls, and they're almost in like cages. And it's sad. Yeah, their parents don't want them. They're on the brink of juvenile, or they've already been to juvenile, and they really don't have anywhere to go, and they're too aggressive for foster care. And it's sad. And so when I think of that, though that didn't happen to me, I did go to juvenile, but that I never went into one of those centers like that. That's sad. And it's like, it doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't. Like, somebody's got to get in there and be like, hey, there's hope. There's always hope.
Yes.
There's always hope. You just have to get around the right people that are putting in the right things in your mind and your ear so that you believe in that. And now I want to do that.
Okay, so I got to jump in because, again, she's a realtor. She does all this other stuff. And on top of that, you give your time and or your money to great organizations like the Fort Bend Child
Advocates of Fort Bend and Texana. Yep, and I belong to the Rotary Club. Yep. Okay,
so when you're out there and you're thinking you don't have time to do this stuff, you should really pick up the phone and call Tricia.
You totally
She'll say, well, you don't have time, you just get up at 3 a.m.
Yes! Add another hour to your day. And that's what I do. It's like, when I take on a project, it's like, I have nothing left to give. Like, where's this coming from? I got to get up at 3. But I will not get up before 3. Like, no. If something is, if I can't fit in it, forget it. That's too early. And I don't even really like 3.
Yeah, 3 is insane. I got to tell you, 3 is insane.
3:45 is okay. I'm used to it now. 4 has been my way forever, but I backed it to 3:45 probably a year ago. But I did go through a spell where it was 3 because I had too much on my plate, and that was not fun.
Okay. Do you ever use a snooze alarm?
No.
I knew it.
Never.
See, that's a true successful person. Because snooze is like, I failed getting it up.
Yes.
I'll get up in 10 minutes.
Yes. And it's like, why? You're just going to be just tireder when it goes off again.
Oh,
because you're not going into a deep sleep. You're just waiting for it to go back off.
All right, Tricia, you're a God-given talent. And if you've never seen my videos, I describe a talent. Number one, I do believe God gives everybody something that comes to you naturally. You don't have to work to do it. It's easy for you. And you may not be using it at your job. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What is yours?
Bringing people together, energy, hope, positivity, 1,000%. Everyone says it to me. Even on Zooms, they'll be like, oh my gosh, I wish I could get your energy. Like, I need your energy. I hear it on the phone. I wish I had your energy. I can feel it coming through the phone. It's like, oh, I know. You can. Because there's people out there that are just complacent.
Yeah.
They need energy. Energy. I'm like this all the time. All the time.
Wow. All right, so do me a favor. Just give me your, you probably have a bunch of sites, but give me your main website, but I'll throw your stuff on the screen as well.
We do, but the one we drive most people to, because it's kind of like where we can schedule calls, you can do anything, it's just callTriciaTurner.com. And you got to spell Tricia right. Tricia, calltriciaturner.com. And of course, we're on YouTube, Google, Facebook, you name it, we're there. But go there and you can schedule a call, learn more, all that stuff.
Excellent. Tricia.
Yeah.
So I brought her in because I knew one little story about it. I said, this is a great story. And there's like 85 stories.
And you had no idea what you were getting into.
I had no idea. This is awesome.
This is awesome. Cheers, you guys. That was awesome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, like I totally just said things I've never said publicly before.